This is my leverage. My leverage is I can say fuck you to the Giants. I can say fuck you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play it down. And that's a play I can use. Anybody knows me, knows that's not something I want to do. But like it's something that crossed my mind. It's like I never thought I would ever do that, but like now I'm in a point where it's like, Jesus, like I might have to take it to this level. And like, am I willing, am I prepared to take it to the level? I don't know. That's something I gotta sit down and like I gotta talk to my family. I gotta sit down and talk to
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's episode 6? I think it's episode 6 of the ImJustSayin Podcast. And I'm so happy to see everybody. How's it been? It's been too long. I know. I'm sorry. You know, real life talk. School is in crunch time right now. I'm grinding because I'm behind. So I'm not making excuses. I'm sorry I wasn't here. But here I am now. And I'll have a couple weeks here before football gets going and school again. So it's gonna be fine. I'm excited. We are very close. We are 48 days away. 48 days away from football. And folks, I can taste it. It's right around the corner. Get your lineup set. Get your fantasy ready. Because it's here. And I can taste it. And it's starting to kill me. Speaking of football, you heard the intro. Biggest news story. Maybe one other, but I think this is probably the biggest story right now in the NFL. The running backs are going on strike. They're not technically, so don't crucify me. I don't know really kind of the technicalities of a strike. I'm not a business guy like that. You know? Never been part of a strike. Never been part of a movement. So I'm not one to necessarily give a critique of this movement. But the running backs have had enough. They're tired of getting extremely underpaid for the beat and wear and tear and running it up the middle for 2 yards 4 times in a row when your offensive line can't even block. And they have simply had enough. There are multiple backs now that are franchise tagged, and 2 of them, I believe, I'm not aware, honestly, of what Tony Pollard is doing. I hope he's doing good. I feel like for some reason I feel like he's playing. I don't know why. I haven't heard anything really negative about him, so maybe that's why. But Saquon Barkley, like you just said, he could say fuck you to the Giants. He could. And honestly, from a business standpoint, he should. Why shouldn't he? Him and Josh Jacobs are now both on the franchise tag, haven't signed, and are, by all accounts, by all reports, probably not going to be reporting to camp. And all the other backs, all the other players seem to be behind them. I mean, this is just one of those ticking time bomb stories here that everybody knew was going to happen at some point. And you know, it's about time. It's about time. And I'm not even saying necessarily you have to get rid of the tag, which you probably should, like that kind of a tag and the way it's used specifically on running backs, but I don't know how you would necessarily do that. I think that great radio, dude. I just think the running back position is one that it's hard. I see both sides from. I really, really do. You know, I mean, from a player perspective, they are taking a massive beating in the prime of their career. And their career, unless you're Adrian Peterson, a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it. Really, after a couple of years, you ain't shit, and you're replaceable as hell, especially in the NFL. So, from the executive's point of view, I get why they're not so. I really get why they're not so like aggressive in signing these guys, because there's value everywhere. I mean, even for me, think about the Steelers last year. There was a good chunk in time where even I'll say I kind of said this, and I'm changing my tune on the man, but there was a time where I thought Jaylen Warren was a better running back than Najee Harris. And I was like, you know what? We wasted a first-round pick on this guy, and we have somebody in this other dude named Warren who comes in, wears a number in the 30s, and balls, and you're like, well, shit. Now, Najee kind of turned it on. I like what Najee could be. Offensive line's going to improve. I still like the talent of Najee, and I'm still a fan of Pittsburgh Steelers football, so I think Najee works. But that's besides the point. These guys are truly replaceable in a lot of offenses, except for a couple of guys. Now, here's the thing. One thing I haven't really seen a whole lot of guys talking about specifically here is that in the case of Saquon Barkley specifically, he is so critical to that team. He led the team in receptions last year. I think he had 60 plus. He led the team. I mean, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen unless you have an insanely dynamic back. Without Saquon last year, the Giants would have been very bad. They would not have been able to score. And when he's healthy, he truly is a special talent. I mean, he's fun to watch. His thighs look like if they even grazed your face, that the skin would come off because they're so strong. But, like, he's a great player. And the Giants know that he's a great player and know that they have these cards stacked against him. I think that is the thing about this situation that people are finally saying, okay, this is not good. And if you look at Josh Jacobs, I mean, Josh Jacobs, on the other hand, is the leading rusher in the league, and he gets rewarded by getting a mediocre contract. And for Josh Jacobs, too, I mean, maybe not to the degree, but with the departure of Derek Carr, you bring in Garoppolo, who's injury prone and old. They're going to want to run the ball a lot. And Josh McDaniels, I know, he likes to play action a lot. Think about Tom Brady. He loves it. So they want to run the ball with Josh Jacobs. And I think Josh Jacobs for sure. I mean, if I was Josh Jacobs, I'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm sorry. I need the bag and to play on a team that is competent at all, because the Raiders are going to be very bad this year. Josh McDaniels is not a good coach. But, I mean, you see McCaffrey getting in on it. You see Dalvin Cook still hasn't been signed as a free agent. Like I said, I think Tony Pollard's going to play, but he did get tagged as well. And I'm not certain on that, so don't quote me. But these guys, they should stand up for themselves, really. I mean, they should be able to stand up for themselves. It's just hard. Because, like, if you have a dynamic quarterback, that guy is going to carry you so far on his own. And the problem with the running back position is that just the way the game is played nowadays, it's just a rarity to see a guy run it 30 times a game, 20-something times a game. And there are a few teams that do it. Like Nick Chubb is probably the best running back in the NFL right now. And I hate to say that because he's a Brown. I fucking hate them. But he's very good. And even he, it's like sometimes you're like, I mean, with Baker Mayfield, think about it. Like, you were like, Jesus Christ, you throw it a lot. Brissett last year, they threw it a lot. And that's with Chubb. So, Derrick Henry, even, they threw it a lot when they had A.J. Brown. Now, that's because they had A.J. Brown. But still, it's just the position is getting phased out. And you get people like Jalen Warren or Cam Akers or someone who rises up through the cracks. Now, Cam Akers up and down, so kind of a bad example. It's just the first name that came to my head. You know, Chris Carson, Amir Abdullah was a name back in the day. You know, Theo Riddick is a name where you're getting good production from a position where you have a lot of value. You know, D'Angelo Williams for the Steelers back in the day was a massive ad. He was fantastic for the Steelers, cheap and old, but fantastic. And the value is out there. So I think this is good for running backs in general. I don't know how the price tag will get jacked up, really, but I hope that it does, just for the sake. I mean, they have enough goddamn money. They really do. That's kind of the weird thing, that the NFL kind of sets these rules and the owners do, but like, they make so much money. They definitely can afford to pay him. And Saquon is phenomenal when he's healthy. I mean, I just said it, but he was their whole team last year. I don't understand the Saquon one. Josh Jacobs out, fine. I know he led the league in rushing last year, but there's something about the way how under the radar the Raiders have been, and especially with Josh Jacobs, that, and even, you know, as good as Josh Jacobs has been, they've had moments where they have good fill-in talent. So there's something about that situation, like, I get it for the Raiders a little bit more. It's still stupid. It's really dumb that what these teams are doing. And you know what? Soon I'm gonna have it with Najee, because, you know, a player like Najee Harris, you know, he's a guy that's still got a lot of question marks. If you take a guy like Najee Harris, you know, if you're paying him a big deal where you're paying him $20 million a year or something like that, you know, he's got to live up to that contract. Now, let's say Saquon, let's say he plays this year and if he has 1,600 yards, 1,700 yards, around there, you know, let's say, he's going to be in the top 5 rushing. That's for sure. It's just hard with the cap, and you've got to use the cap to your advantage as a GM in every way possible. It's tough. I see both sides of it. It sucks for the players, and obviously they're making enough money. I want it to be the players to make more money, because, you know, you do think about it too. Like, a lot of these bum NBA players make tons of money. The hockey players don't make shit, but they don't make as much either. So whatever. The baseball players make ungodly amounts of money for doing fucking nothing. So, like, pay the goddamn running backs. They're fun to watch. And honestly, bring me back some more bell cow running backs, because, like, watching Derrick Henry fucking annihilate people is so fun. He just he slides through a defense so magically for a man that large. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Saquon Barkley, for a guy who literally could kill you with his leg, he has so much style and charisma, and the way that he gets in and out of his cuts, and he's fluid, and he's athletic, and he's strong, and somehow he's still fast, and he can catch the football out of the backfield. He's got everything you want as a back. Everything. And still they're like, nah, we'll take our fucking chances. See you later, bitch. I don't know, dude. I mean, that's the part about it, that it's just like, you really can't come back from it. I mean, we'll see. We'll see who wins. And you know what? Unfortunately, the way the running back position goes, and the way the injuries happen and things like that, somehow this is going to be this is gonna be an L for Saquon. I can just feel it. I hope I'm wrong, because like I said, I love watching Saquon play, but this does feel like one where if the owners make a stand, he'll get hurt or something, and they'll be vindicated for some stupid fucking reason, and that'll be what it is. But I hope that they're able to get Saquon his money, because he deserves it, and we all don't want to see him sit out, especially for those boys who have already drafted in fantasy and took a chance on him. Good luck, boys. I'm here for you. I am. All right. That's the first item for today down on the docket. Let me get a little. Gotta get a utensil. All right. And the second biggest story this week, I have it written down third, but we got to talk about it. It's sad that I haven't even made a TikTok or anything about this. Deandre Hopkins goes to the Titans. He goes to another team that nobody was expecting. He's been rumored to go to the Chiefs or the Bills or the Jets or the did I hear the Jags maybe? I don't know. He's been not really the Jags, but he's been rumored to go to the Bills and the Chiefs for sure. Play with Mahomes or Josh Allen, maybe win a Super Bowl, take a pay cut, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes out with this list. The list says he wants to play for a franchise quarterback, a strong organization, like good GM and good management and stuff like that, and a great head coach, or and not a great, maybe it was like a roster ready to win or something like that. This is great broadcasting, but it's too late anyway in the Newsweek. You've all seen the tweet. You know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Don't hold me to this. I mean, I could spend 10 minutes and looking it up if you want, but I don't. Come on. The thing is, the Titans have none of them. The Titans have none of those three. Vrabel is a good coach. They definitely play for him. I very much like his personality. I think he's kind of the type of guy that if you're going to have a fun guy as your coach, you got to have it where it's like a fun guy like that who's got some mean to him so that he'll get on your ass when he needs to. I think Vrabel is somebody who a lot of guys can relate to. The thing about it is, honestly, and it's crazy. It's crazy that I'm even going to say this. I don't know if I really want to. I'm gonna though. So the thing about it is, when I start to look at it a little bit more, I still think DeAndre Hopkins is wrong in that the Titans don't fit those three descriptions. But I do think that they fit two of them, one of them. I think it doesn't matter. And listen why. If you look on defense, they just paid Autry, they just paid Simmons, I believe. I believe they still have Bud Dupree. They still have Kevin Byard. McCreary is a solid player on the outside that they have now. Their defense is pretty solid, and with Coach Vrabel at the helm, they will play hard. They will play hard. Whether or not they limit another team to, like say they limit the Chiefs to 20 or they limit, the Jets to 15 or whatever it is, I don't know, but they will come to play every week. Offensive line has some question marks for sure, has some young pieces, all that shit. But at the same time, it's possible that they could be okay up front. Obviously, you have arguably, I said it was Nick Chubb earlier, I still believe that, but arguably the best running back in the NFL in Derrick Henry. And when he's healthy, he's unstoppable no matter who he has blocking for him. I mean, outside, now you add DeAndre Hopkins. That was their biggest weakness. Their wide receivers last year were guys who looked like they could be serving me chicken at Publix on a Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. with corn bites, which I didn't know even existed, but they're actually really fucking good. They're so good. They're like, it's like a fried piece of cornbread. I mean, how could you not like it? It's a little gooey on the inside. It's got some sweetness. It's Southern cooking at its finest. But their biggest weakness was at wide receiver. You lose A.J. Brown in one of the worst trades of all time. The Eagles go right to the Super Bowl. Now, you draft Burks with that pick. Burks still remains to be seen. A lot of injuries. We'll see there. A lot of people are high on him. You got that, I want to say it's Okonkwo or something. Chig, I'm sorry, buddy. I buddied you too, because that's even worse. If you ever saw this, dude, I promise you, I know who you are. It's bad broadcasting. I'll admit it. It's bad broadcasting. But so they have Burks, they have the tight end, they have Derrick Henry, and now you add DeAndre Hopkins. If Burks can be a solid guy, and do they still have Robert Woods? I don't know. He got hurt, I think, last year. He might have retired. He might be dead now. I don't know. But if they do have Robert Woods, that's a core that I don't hate. The problem is, and this is where DeAndre Hopkins really loses me, is someone's got to throw the damn ball. He can't throw it to himself. Who's it going to be? Take your pick. 1 through 3 all have their question marks. And I know some people believe in Tannehill, which is, I never believed him in the first place. That's the problem. So, like, when he was proving everybody wrong for those couple of years, still ended up never winning anything, choked away a 20-point lead to the Chiefs. Obviously, they're the Chiefs, but still choked it. Right? No, that was the Titans. I think the Titans did it the week before. God. And I call myself a journalist. Anyway, well, I don't call myself a journalist. What the fuck am I talking about? But yeah. He's a hole that if one of Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, or William Levis, sorry, forgot your name, but I didn't forget about your hot-ass girlfriend. I'm leaving that in. Fuck it. He'll never see it. Anyway, if they can get somebody to throw the ball to that big man, he's going to get his catches. He's going to get open. He is DeAndre Hopkins. And if they can just score enough and ride the coattails of Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, let that defense do its job, at the very least, they're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be a team you don't want to play on Sunday. They're going to be a pain in the side of somebody who's trying to get that 1 seed. I don't know who that's going to be yet, but I think the DeAndre Hopkins signing might be a little better than you think. Now, I will say it is funny. It's very funny. DeAndre Hopkins, ultimate loser. He loves to lose. Texans, Cardinals, and now the team that I just sat here and talked about for fucking 10 minutes, the Tennessee Titans. Thank you, Brian, for giving me that back. But he loves to lose, I guess. He loves to play with mediocre to bad quarterbacks. And he can do it himself. He's that good. So good on DeAndre Hopkins. I think he also got a bag from the Titans, which he wasn't going to get from the Bills or the Chiefs. So that doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to get a bag. Call him a chaser, but we'd all chase too if we were in that position. All right. moving right along. And guys, there's a couple. We're talking about quarterbacks here, and if they can throw. There's a couple in the NFL right now that I just despise in every way, and it's not necessarily because of who they are. It's not necessarily because of who they play for. It's not necessarily because their fans are awful. It's not necessarily because they feel super ungenuine and horrible and dead inside. It's not just because they cry and get a pity party at every opportunity. It's not just because they're good sometimes and they choke at the biggest moments. It's not just because they think that they're better than they are and all that. There's just I wouldn't say that about all these. I wouldn't say that about people. I really wouldn't, but Dak Prescott is the worst. He's got to be up there in the top 75 worst, most annoying personalities in sports. I was going to say worst guys, but he's probably a good guy. I'm sure he's a good guy. They're all good guys. I don't mean that like that. I'm just having fun. But he's got to be all-time most annoying. Oh, my God. He's like Black Tony Romo. Remember when Tony Romo used to get up there and cry about his team and blah, 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 and fucking T.O., and that's my quarterback? I mean, I guess that was Troy Aikman, but all that bullshit. Remember Tony Romo crying his eyes out when he fumbled? Well, Dak Prescott is starting to get on my goddamn nerves because this guy, first of all, he's a joke, right? He's not very good. He may be the most overrated player in the NFL right now, and his stats are okay. But what is the deal with Dak Prescott? And it's he can't stop turning the ball over. He loves it. He loves to turn the ball over. In fact, I want to look up just how many times he turned the ball over last season because I want to be exactly right about this. I want to be exactly right. All right. He had 15 interceptions. So, Dak Prescott is now claiming that he is going to not throw 10 interceptions this season. So, when he came into the league in 2016, he threw 4 picks. He did not play the whole season, obviously. The next year, 13 picks. The year after that, 8 picks, and he had a 4-pick year, but that was, again, he only threw 9 touchdowns. That was the year he got hurt in 2020. Other than that, the last two years, 15 picks, 10 picks. So he has gone up in picks and down in yards. He did not play a lot. I think he was hurt a couple games this year because he only threw for 2,800 yards this year, which is crazy. There's no way he only threw for 2,800 yards. He was awful. Oh, my God. Only threw 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and now he's coming out saying, nope, guess what? Definitely throwing less than 10 interceptions this year. And I've thrown 25 in the last 2 years combined. So he's a joke. Dak Prescott is the perfect quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys because he's a pompous idiot who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and he thinks he's way better than he is. And I like to see him die in the playoffs in the second round or the third round when everyone finally thinks that maybe they have a chance and they get to round themselves up and they go, hey, whoa, Dallas, yeah. Everybody pull your Walmart t-shirts out. Pull the t-shirts out. We're having a party. The Cowboys, America's team. Yeah. Who cares? Guess what? You're going to lose. Everyone else is going to laugh at you. And we're all going to go on about our day. You know? Oh, and not a gag. I actually choked on that. Anyway. these Dallas Cowboys fans have found their perfect quarterback in Dak Prescott because you know what? They get to be way worse than they are in their head, and we all get to laugh when they throw an egg in their face. And this is the first egg for Dak Prescott this season. I wouldn't be surprised now. Book it. Whatever his interception total, let's look that up. Whatever his interception total is for the year, you should bet acreage in Key West. You should bet acreage in Key West that he goes over that this year. Dak Prescott single I have a freaking bug bite under my chin. That's crazy. Interception total 2023. Let's see if they have this up on the internet. Let's see if we can't find it here. Doesn't have it. But I don't care if the number was 18. You should bet the over. That guy loves throwing the ball away. It's like his favorite. It's like his favorite pastime. It honestly is. It's one of his favorite things to do in the world. He did it in the playoffs. He does it when he has leads. He does it when he's down. He does it in his sleep. He does it by accident. He does it while injuring himself. He does it while injuring somebody else. He does it without even thinking about it. He does it while receiving the snap, he fumbles and gives the other team the ball. So he loves giving it away. And he's going to continue to do that this year. And the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys again. I hope that they're even slightly better than they were last year, just so that the pain at the end is a little bit better. Just a little bit better. But Dak Prescott is crazy. He is I have a list right now. Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Russell Wilson, all on my scumbag, you're the worst, get out of my face, stop talking shit, I don't care, dead to me list. They're all out. They're all out. Now, if I need to maybe bet one of their teams at some point, I reserve the right to be able to do that. But we'll talk about that later. It's fine. All right.
Hey guys, sorry for how the pod has gone this week. I'm sorry that I didn't get an episode out to you right away. I will be doing that next week, but we've been having every technical issue you could possibly have. No excuses, so I'm going to get you this pod. It's only going to be a couple minutes instead of a big, long, hour and a half, 2 hour pod. It does cut off kind of at the end of one of my points, so at least you're not missing any content really that I gave you. I tried to film the second half of this episode after the phone died, but the file got corrupted. So this is really all we're going to get at this point. But I'll be back better than ever next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button. Tell all your friends. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.